Hi, my name is Joanna Whitney. I am an intuitive artist, a student of natural law, and an energy practitioner. And today I'm going to be talking about a project that I'm going to be working on that I'm going to invite everyone to participate in if they like. It's practical application of natural law in a creative way. Um, I'm pretty much going to read from a document that I've written, which I'm going to enclose at the bottom of this video, and you can download it. It's completely free to participate. At the moment, I don't have a way that I'm going to involve the participants' artwork or whatever they create, but I'm sure I'll figure that out in time because it's a year-long project. Um, and I'm doing it as a fundraiser for Great Escape Mustang Rescue. Now, what I mean by that is that I'm going to create 12 to 13 pieces of artwork in the theme of the Wild Mustang over the course of a year. And when I'm done, I'm going to donate those paintings or whatever they're going to be to Great Escape Mustang Rescue to auction off for their annual fundraiser or however they would like to use them. Um, I work for them as a volunteer. I do the emotion code and the body code energy healing on traumatized horses, Mustangs, and burros that were rounded up by the Bureau of Land Management. I don't know how many people know about this that's been going on. I think it's been going on since the 50s. I thought it was going on since the 70s, but I just recently um, read an article about a crusader named Verna Bone, um, who was called Wild Horse Annie, nicknamed Wild Horse Annie, and she um, saw her first tragedy of wild horses in the 50s. So I think it's been going on for a lot longer than the 70s. In any event, it's still going on. Your tax dollars are supporting it. Um, and it's a complete and total genocide by the government for God knows what reason. I mean, it's definitely follow the money. It's definitely about controlling things that are free. I know I've heard our friend Klaus Schwab mention that the World Economic Forum wants to know where every living thing is on the planet. So, where every tree is, where every person is, where every wild creature is. So I'm sure this is just the precursor to that. Plus, it's, a good way for bullies to get off. The horses that I work on have been so traumatized that they have physical and behavioral disorders that are due to trapped emotions that they experienced as they were being rounded up by helicopter, held in pens. And if they happen to be pregnant, they might have lost their foal during the roundup. And then they're just depressed for like a year. And I have had to work on some of these horses for a year or more. Um, but I've been very successful using the healing modality that I do. And now I just want to do something more because I'm an artist and I can do something more than energy healing to raise money. I mean, I'm not raising money by doing energy healing. I'm doing that voluntarily, and I've worked on over 20 horses for them in the last year and a half, very successfully. But I just feel now, um, I guess this is going to come into another topic, which is about the purpose of visual art. I have a master's in fine art. I've been through the whole rigmarole of school and all that baloney. Um, and I've come to the conclusion that visual art was not really intended to be a commodity, but that the dark occult Luciferians, knowing that access to visual art, the power that comes through me as an artist, they didn't want us normal people to have access to that. No, 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 because it's a huge manifestation tool. If you learn how to draw and then practice it, you are honing a tool of manifestation. So they definitely wanted people to not know that. So they made it into a commodity, the actual artwork into a commodity so that it would create competition and, feed right into the ego of the artist. And, in Western society, I mean, in smaller tribes of people, art was used appropriately. But then, if it doesn't disintegrate into the ground or uh, if it's not burned after the ceremony, then um, and then it's sold into the marketplace, then it's being taken out of its intended purpose. And uh, there's sort of a bad energy that goes with that, besides the fact that, artwork today is used for money laundering by the dark occult. That's why, like, yeah, I guess if Van Gogh would sell for $450 million, that's a money laundering tactic. So, I mean, this is a big topic. The purpose of art is to have the spiritual experience that the artist gets when drawing down the cosmic energy through the crown chakra and drawing up the earth energy through the root chakra into the solar plexus, where they mix together. And then those two sources of energy, including the human heart energy, combine together and then are put into the substrate. So then the artwork itself has captured the energy of the artist for the intended purpose. And the other thing, I mean, I think that it's important to realize is what you're thinking about while you're creating art. Like if you had no idea that this is what you were doing, you could be thinking about how you hate all your friends. This is what I did when I was a kid. I would just ruminate on all the people I hated while I was doing art. Now I know what's going on. So I know that while I do art, I have to pray and I have to say a positive statement of attention or I have to say a mantra. It's very, very important for me to do this. Otherwise, either the power would backfire on itself and have no power at all, or it could have very negative power depending on what the art was being used for and the images of the artwork. But if I do the artwork knowing what I'm doing and I infuse it with spiritual power in a positive frequency, the artwork itself is going to have a lot of power in it. Now, I'm not going to sell the artwork for personal gain. I'm going to donate it to Great Escape Mustang Rescue. I do not believe anymore in trying to sell artwork. I believe that is incorrect, an incorrect use of visual art. And when I look at what they've done through the media to visual art, I can definitely see, take for example, our friend Marina Abramovic. Remember her? Spirit cooking. She's considered a performance artist. What a joke. She's actually a satanic witch, and she does her witchery, her rituals publicly. There was a Spanish artist whose name I can't remember and I don't want to remember, who starved a dog to death, that as a piece of performance art. See, this is where it's all gone. It's gone very, very negative. There's a lot of things that have happened very negatively in the art world, and I will stay away from the art world. But anyway, I'm going to do this project to produce 12 pieces of artwork in this theme, and I'm going along with Rudolf Steiner's 13 mystical, well, he calls them 13 holy nights from the winter solstice, December 21st through January 1st. There's two separate sets of holy nights that Rudolf Steiner talks about. One of them is attached to Christianity, and it starts on the evening of December 25th through January 6th. And then there's a second set, which is the one I'm going to do, which is from the winter solstice, December 21st through January 1st. And I'm calling it actually Mystical Days Portal, because I'm going to open it up so that I don't have to do it at night. I just don't know that I can do it at night. But Rudolf Steiner, he said you have to do it. You have to do the gathering at night. But I'm going to do the gathering um, on each day. And what I mean by that is that I'm going to prepare 13 substrates each day, starting on December 21st, ending on January 1st. Each one of these substrates is going to correspond to an astrological sign. And then I'm going to create a painting on the substrate every month. I hope this makes sense. I'm going to go through this document, and then you can look at it yourself if you're interested in doing it. It's a lovely structure to produce artwork of some kind. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be visual art. You could do music, you could do a play, you could do theater, whatever you want to do, however you want to structure it, you could do it. But the idea is to use these 13 powerful portal days to gather the energy that I was talking about into the substrate, and then use them every month to create a piece. So yeah, I'm just going to read this. In Rudolf Steiner's work, he used the nighttime only, from sundown on the mystical day to sunrise the following day, to gather the energy. I utilize the entire 24-hour period. It should be up to each individual to decide the time for their work. Everybody is on a bizarre schedule now, and I don't want to restrict people from doing this project because you have to gather the energy at night. I don't agree with that. So the 13 mystical days are symbols for the 12 forces of the soul that live within us, which reveal themselves through the zodiac. And the 13th culmination and entrance to the following year. In other words, if you decided you wanted to do this next year or continue to do it, you would be left without a substrate for the last month into January. And I'm also going to be doing these according to the lunations of the moon, because the law of polarity, this is based on the sun. So I'm going to do the artwork based on the new moon through the last quarter. So then it goes on to say, December 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th are the darkest, shortest days of the year. And December 25th is the rebirth of the sun, S-U-N, or S-O-N in astrotheology. And hope returns as the days start getting longer. And on January 1st at noon, we have the sun as close as possible to the earth. Sun, S-U-N, S-O-N. These days are the darkest of the year and are closest to the sun spirit, and this means that the spiritual sun, S-O-N, S-U-N, shining from inside the earth makes its translucent and illuminates everything makes the earth translucent and illuminates everything from the inside, not as it is afterwards when the sun illuminates the earth from above, from the outside. Balancing the law of polarity, I'm using the moon lunations for the creation of the artwork. So the new moon is going to be on December 30th. And so I'm going to be making substrates while I start up the first piece, if that makes sense, because that's December 30th is part of the mystical um, days portal. But it's also it's the new moon of that month of the month of January. So I'm going to be doing the Capricorn substrate painting beginning at that time. This period, which Steiner did indeed refer to as a time of spiritual renewal, is sometimes associated with a more condensed practice of 13 days, counting from December 21st to January 1st, distinct from the 12 days of Christmas, which is what I was talking about before. The winter solstice and mystical days portal, December 21st to January 21st. In this context, Steiner and the anthroposophical tradition emphasized the winter solstice as a crucial timing point in the spiritual year. The mystical days portal that follows the solstice symbolize a time for deep soul work and spiritual reflection, marking a time when the earthly and spiritual worlds are particularly aligned. The practice focuses on a 13-day cycle, and each 24-hour period associated with a different aspect of spiritual development, self-transformation, or divine insight. The key principle is that during this period, the human soul can align itself with cosmic rhythms and engage in inner work that prepares it for the year ahead. So I'm combining this practice with the Kabbalah and the Tarot, as well as the Kybalion. So there's going to be, daily meditation, dream journaling, creative expression, contemplation and prayer, and rituals as you prefer. I'm not going to be controlling about this. Everybody can do this their own way, however they want. The importance of the 13th day is the culmination of the spiritual work of the previous days. It's a time when all of the self-reflection, insight, and meditations come together, serving as a gateway to the new year. Let's see if there's what else. Okay, then I go into the art supplies that you will need. I'm just giving suggestions here, and you can read this in the document when you download it. If you have any questions, there's contact information on the document, and you can reach out to me, and we can discuss different ways to do it. If you're a person who is terrified of doing any kind of artwork, I also provided the builders of the I can never pronounce this, Adentum tarot deck. I had the high res black and white version of the major arcana, and I'm providing that in the document so that you could just color those in. And I also provided the color versions it's from the Fool to the Hanged Man, okay? And of course, if you want to do the complete deck, I'm happy to supply that as well. This would be a spiritual exercise in embedding the images of the tarot in your subconscious, because Dr. Paul Foster Case said that the way to embed those symbols into the subconscious was through drawing them, coloring them in. So if you feel like you want to participate in this, but you feel like you're too intimidated by trying to do any kind of artwork, then you could just print out the black and white 8.5 by 11 tarot cards and color them in using the color map of each of the cards provided in the document. So then I did go into this a little bit. I did say that humans have the ability to draw the etheric energy into ourselves through our crown chakra, just like I just mentioned. And this is the power that the dark occult Luciferians do not want us to know about. Um, if you're living by natural law and you draw this power into yourself, you become individually very, very powerful. And you can look into this more, you can look into people using chi through their fingers as a lethal weapon. I'm really not going to go into this much more. You can do research about this, Qigong, Tai Chi, high forms of yoga. The forms that are martial art will explain this more. But simply, if you're an artist already and you have the eye-hand coordination to be able to draw, you have access to that kind of power. They don't want us to know about that. I mean, what are you going to do? Register your hand? Get a concealed carry for your hand? All right, moving on. Um, so then I go on to say that what I'm going to do with the artwork that I create, which I told you already, and I give you access to URLs so you can research that for yourself if you want. Then I give you a Kabbalah tree of life that has um, the tarot cards embedded in it, along with the astrological symbols. And then I'm showing you how the microcosmic tree of life and the macrocosmic tree of life with the major arcana. And then we go into the mystical days, which I'm not sure what page is, page 7. That's when that starts. So the first mystical day, December 21st, the winter solstice, is Capricorn. It's related to January. And it says begin the artwork during the new moon, December 30th, through the full moon, January 13th, and onward through the last quarter before the next new moon. And then with this particular one, you realize that you will still be making substrates for the last part of 2025 when you begin the artwork for this day. And while you're making it, contemplate Capricorn, cardinal Earth, Saturn, the planet of limitation, cosmic birth and renewal. This day marks the spiritual birth of the Son, Sonsun, Christ. But you don't have to be, a Christian to do this. Um, you can reinterpret this as whatever works for you. Being in the world. So it's the rebirth of the Son being into the world of human consciousness. It's a time to reflect on the cosmic significance of light and rebirth, focus, renewal, the potential for spiritual awakening and inner illumination. So the Kabbalah, day 1, winter solstice, is Kathir, the crown chakra. The theme is divine unity, source of all creation. The Kabbalistic focus would be Kathir is the highest Sephirah and represents the divine will or source of life. The winter solstice marks the moment of deepest darkness, but also the return of the light as the days slowly begin to lengthen. On this day, focus on the deep sense of unity, oneness with the source of all, and the primal creative energy that exists before all manifestation. Practice meditation on the infinite nature of the divine, visualizing the divine light that emerges from the darkness and feeling the interconnectedness of all beings. And then it would move into the Fool. December 21st, the Fool, theme, a new beginning, innocence, and potential. Connection to mystical days portal. The first day marks the beginning of the soul's renewal cycle. It's a time of opening up to new possibilities and trusting the unknown, just as the Fool steps into the unknown. We are invited to let go of past burdens and start afresh. So, the Fool is actually related to Da'at, which is the invisible Sephirah. not actually Katir, but um, I'm going to be getting more into the tarot and how it was subverted from exoterism, uh, how, just calling it the Fool makes it so that you don't really want to be a fool. You want to be more logical, but actually the Fool is the all. So we're going to be getting into that when I start to discuss the um, tarot through the eyes of the Kabbalion in a few weeks. But anyway, then I go on about Dr. Paul Foster Case and the builders of the Aditum, which is a mystery school, and I gave you the website for that in case you want to get into that. Um, and then the next two pages are the uh, tarot card in black and white and the tarot card in color. And then it goes on to the second day. So there's 13 days, and you would follow those. On December 22nd, you would do the second substrate for your piece. And what I mean by doing this substrate. So for what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an 18 by 24 sheet of all media paper, meaning that it will take watercolor, acrylic, oil paint, whatever I use, and it's not going to ripple a lot. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to use tempera paint, and I'm going to abstractly cover it with different colors. However, I intuitively feel like I might use my left hand, which will um, override my right brain. I mean, my left brain, it will override my left brain and set me up for good artwork that will come when I actually make the actual painting later on. So I'm going to take tempera paint, which is very inexpensive, but it's high quality praying tempera paint. It's like a child's version of gouache, and I'm going to cover the entire surface of the paper with that tempera paint in an abstract way. And then it's going to dry really fast, and I could use anything on top of that. I mean, I could spray it lightly with Cryoline Crystal Clear matte finish to keep it from moving if I use watercolor, or I could just not do that at all, and I could just use chalk pastel, or I could use um, glue and other, tissue paper or whatever on top of that later on, or um, I could even do, that thing we used to do in elementary school where we covered uh, some colorful with colorful paint with black crayon, and then I could scrape away. Yeah, remember that? That's, you could do that with scratchboard, but you can make your own scratchboard by just covering the tempera paint with black crayon and then scraping away the black crayon. I mean, there's so many things. That's basically what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be covering these large pieces of paper with paint quickly, not thinking much about it, because I'm just breaking up the monotony of the white substrate with color so that when it comes to the month that I'm going to do this piece on, it's inspired already. And in my um, painting of the substrate, I'm going to be drawing the energy from the portal and putting it onto the paper while I'm contemplating these ideas. So, the first day is going to be about mentalism. I'm going to be thinking about the all. So, um, I'll put all the links in the description below, and I'll put a link to this document here so you can download it and read it yourself and decide if you'd like to participate. It's a super fun creative thing to do. And to me, it's a total F you to the World Economic Forum. For me to be as creative as I possibly can, not for personal gain, is a big F you to the World Economic Forum. It's probably the best thing I could do. Um, as one single person, like I said before, I don't have a community really anymore. And I have been incapable of gathering a community around me. So I'm going to do what I can do by myself. And I'm going to utilize the internet because I'll be talking about the process and I'll be sharing the artwork throughout the year. That is going to go on. But yeah, I feel like although it may seem like I'm not doing much, maybe because, up against the military and the US Marshals and the big guns or whatever of the physical realm, it doesn't look like much. But really, it's a huge um, statement to make because I know the truth. I know that I have all power, access to all power because I live by natural law. And I'll be making a statement on the etheric plane, which is the causal plane. So I just invite everyone to participate if they wish, and please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Till next time.